a Wikividi Documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Nibiru Cataclysm. The Nibiru Cataclysm is a supposed disastrous encounter between the Earth and a large planetary object which certain groups believe will take place in the early 21st century. Believers in this doomsday event usually refer to this object as Planet X or Nibiru. The idea that a planet-sized object will collide with or closely pass by Earth in the near future is not supported by any scientific evidence and has been rejected by astronomers and planetary scientists as pseudoscience and an internet hoax. The idea was first put forward in 1995 by Nancy Lieder, founder of the website ZetaTalk. Lieder describes herself as a contactee with the ability to receive messages from extraterrestrials from the Zeta Reticuli star system through an implant in her brain. She states that she was chosen to warn mankind that the object would sweep through the inner solar system in May 2003, causing Earth to undergo a physical pole shift that would destroy most of humanity. The prediction has subsequently spread beyond Lieder's website, and has been embraced by numerous internet doomsday groups, most of which link the event to the 2012 phenomenon. Since 2012, the Nibiru Cataclysm has frequently reappeared in the popular media, usually linked to newsmaking astronomical objects such as Comet Eson or Planet 9. Although the name, Nibiru, is derived from the works of the ancient astronaut writer Zecharia Sitchin and his interpretations of Babylonian and Sumerian mythology, he denied any connection between his work and various claims of a coming apocalypse. Nancy Lieder and ZetaTalk. The idea of the Nibiru encounter originated with Nancy Lieder, a Wisconsin woman who claims that as a girl she was contacted by grey extraterrestrials called Zetas, who implanted a communications device in her brain. In 1995, she founded the website ZetaTalk to disseminate her ideas. Lieder first came to public attention on internet newsgroups during the build-up to Comet Hale-Bopp's 1997 perihelion. She stated, claiming to speak as the Zetas, that the Hale-Bopp comet does not exist. It is a fraud, perpetrated by those who would have the teeming masses quiescent until it is too late. Hale-Bopp is nothing more than a distant star, and will draw no closer. She claimed that the Hale-Bopp story was manufactured to distract people from the imminent arrival of a large planetary object, Planet X, which would soon pass by Earth and destroy civilization. After Hale-Bopp's perihelion revealed it as one of the brightest and longest observed comets of the last century, Lieder removed the first two sentences of her initial statement from her site, though they can still be found in Google's archives. Her claims eventually made the New York Times. Lieder described Planet X as roughly 4 times the size of the Earth, and said that its closest approach would occur on May 27, 2003, resulting in the Earth's rotation ceasing for exactly 5.9 terrestrial days. This would be followed by the Earth's pole destabilizing in a pole shift caused by magnetic attraction between the Earth's core and the magnetism of the passing planet. This in turn would disrupt the Earth's magnetic core and lead to subsequent displacement of the Earth's crust. Zecharia Sitchin and Suma. Although Lieder originally referred to the object as Planet X, it has become deeply associated with Nibiru, a planet, from the works of ancient astronaut proponent Zecharia Sitchin, particularly his book The 12th Planet. According to Sitchin's interpretation of ancient Mesopotamian religious texts, which contradicts conclusions reached by credited scholars on the subject, a giant planet passes by Earth every 3,600 years, allowing its sentient inhabitants to interact with humanity. Sitchin identified these beings with the Anunnaki in Sumerian mythology and claimed that they were humanity's first gods. Lieder first made the connection between Nibiru and her Planet X on her site in 1996. However, Sitchin, who died in 2010, denied any connection between his work and Lieder's claims. In 2007, partly in response to Lieder's proclamations, Sitchin published a book, The End of Days, which set the time for the last passing of Nibiru by Earth, at 556 BC, which would mean, given the object's supposed 3,600-year orbit, that it would return sometime around AD 2900. He did however say that he believed that the Anunnaki might return earlier by spaceship, and that the timing of their return would coincide with the shift from the astrological age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius, sometime between 2090 and 2370. 2003 Hazelwood claims. After LIDA, the first person to propagate her Planet X idea was Mark Hazelwood, a former member of the Zeta Talk community, who in 2001 published a book titled Blindsided. Planet X passes in 2003. LIDA would later accuse him of being a confidence trickster. A Japanese cult called the Panawave Laboratory, which blocked off roads and rivers with white cloths to protect itself from electromagnetic attacks, also warned that the world would end in May 2003 after the approach of a 10th planet. Roughly a week before the supposed arrival of Planet X in May 2003, LIDA appeared on KROQ-FM radio in Los Angeles, and advised listeners to euthanize their pets in anticipation of the event, as she had done. This led the Fortean Times to conclude that she had put down her dog to save them from further suffering during the pole shift. Later, in a 2004 interview, she said that she had euthanized her dog because it was acting aggressively. After the 2003 date passed without incident, LIDA said that it was merely a white lie to fool of the establishment. She refused to disclose the true date, saying that to do so would give those in power enough time to declare martial law and trap people in cities during the shift, leading to their deaths. 2012 in the Mayan calendar. Though LIDA herself has not specified a new date for the object's return, many groups have taken up her idea and cited their own dates. One frequently cited date was December 21, 2012. This date had many apocalyptic associations, as it was the end of a cycle in the long count in the Mayan calendar. Several writers published books connecting the encounter with 2012. Despite that date having passed, many websites still contend that Nibiru/Planet X is en route to Earth. In 2012, LIDA claimed that US President Barack Obama futilely attempted to announce the presence of Nibiru near the Sun. After 2012, she claimed that several world leaders had intended to announce the presence of Nibiru near the Sun on October 20, 2014. 2 weeks after the supposed date of announcement, she claimed that it did not occur because of consternation amongst the establishment. 2017 revival. In 2017, a conspiracy theorist and self-proclaimed Christian numerologist named David Meade revived the Nibiru cataclysm by tying it to various passages from the Bible. Meade declared that these passages contained secret numerological codes, which revealed the exact date on which Nibiru would arrive. He also based his predictions on the geometry of the Giza pyramids. Meade initially predicted that Nibiru would arrive in October 2017, but he later revised the date back to the 23rd of September. The specific focus of his prediction revolved around the woman of the apocalypse, referring to a supposedly unique configuration on that date of the Sun, Moon, and planets in Virgo. He cited the solar eclipse of August 21, 2017 as a harbinger. Meade's claims received extensive media attention. Viral fake news stories circulated across the internet, adducing non-existent confirmations by NASA of Nibiru's existence on a course headed straight for Earth. In reality, NASA's position is, and always has been, that Nibiru does not exist. Meade also faced criticism from fellow Christians. Ed Stetzer, writing for Christianity Today, stated that there is no such thing as a Christian numerologist, and described Meade as a made-up expert in a made-up field talking about a made-up event. Christopher M. Graney, a professor with the Vatican Observatory Foundation, noted that the supposedly unique event was, in fact, quite common, having occurred 4 times in the last millennium. His September 23 theories were also debunked by Time writer Jeff Klugger. Brazilian astronomer Giulia de Mello called his predictions and theories rubbish, and also said Nibiru would have been seen during the eclipse, and that Meade was using calculations based on the Gregorian calendar. After his predictions failed to come true, Meade revised them and declared that Nibiru would arrive on the 5th of October 2017, not on the 23rd of September. Meade announced that, on the 5th of October, Nibiru would eclipse the Sun, and North Korea, China, and Russia would launch a combined nuclear attack on the United States. Then, the Earth would be devastated by a series of magnitude 9.8 earthquakes. The Earth's magnetic pole would shift by 30 degrees, the United States would be split in half, and Barack Obama would be elected president for an unconstitutional third term. He predicted that the 7-year Great Tribulation would begin on the 15th of October. When October came, another apocalyptic writer, Terrell Croft, predicted the arrival of Nibiru for November 19th. A prediction again reported in the British tabloid press. Croft describes Nibiru as a black star at the edge of our solar system, which, rather than colliding with Earth, would form an apocalyptic conjunction with Earth, leading to massive earthquakes. Croft claimed that earthquakes have been increasing worldwide in the lead-up to the conjunction, though the Washington Post, quoting the United States Geological Survey, was quick to point out that earthquakes had decreased in both power and frequency over the year. Paula Begley, a YouTube conspiracy theorist and pastor at the Community Gospel Baptist Church in Knox, Indiana, also predicted in one of his YouTube videos that Nibiru would appear in 2017 and declared that the solar eclipse was a sign of the apocalypse and the rogue planet. Scientific rejection. Astronomers reject the idea of Nibiru, and have made efforts to inform the public that there is no threat to Earth. They point out that such an object so close to Earth would be easily visible to the naked eye, and would create noticeable effects in the orbits of the outer planets. Claims that the object has been concealed behind the Sun are untenable. Most photographs purporting to show Nibiru beside the Sun are lens flares, false images of the Sun created by reflections within the lens. Astronomer Mike Brown notes that if this object's orbit were as described, it would only have remained in the solar system for about 1 million years before Jupiter expelled it, and, even if such a planet existed, its magnetic field would have no effect on Earth's. Leaders' assertions that the approach of Nibiru would cause the Earth's rotation to stop or its axis to shift violate the laws of physics. In his rebuttal of Emanuel Velikovsky's Worlds in Collision, which made the same claim that the Earth's rotation could be stopped and then restarted, Carl Sagan noted that the energy required to break the Earth is not enough to melt it. Although it would result in a noticeable increase in temperature, the oceans would be raised to the boiling point of water. Also, how does the Earth get started up again, rotating at approximately the same rate of spin? The Earth cannot do it by itself, because of the law of the conservation of angular momentum. In a 2009 interview with the Discovery Channel, Mike Brown noted that, while it is not impossible that the Sun has a distant planetary companion, such an object would have to be lying very far from the observed regions of the solar system to have no detectable gravitational effect on the other planets. A Mars-sized object could lie undetected at 300 astronomical units. A Jupiter-sized object at 30,000 astronomical units. To travel 1,000 astronomical units in 2 years, an object would need to be moving at 2,400 km per second faster than the galactic escape velocity. At that speed, any object would be shot out of the solar system, and then out of the Milky Way galaxy into intergalactic space. Brought to you by Wikividi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?